Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this episode, we're going to talk about volume profile. Now, I know already made a video on just the standard volume that sits on the bottom of your screen in TradingView, but the volume profile sits on the side, on the left-hand side of your screen, and it gives you areas of interest. So we're just going to break it down in this video. Volume profile indicators, basic concepts, definition. Volume profile is an advanced charting indicator that displays trading activity over a specific time period at specific price levels. The indicator takes into account user defined parameters such as number of rows and time period and plots a histogram on the chart meant to reveal dominant and or significant price levels based on volume. Essentially, volume profile takes the total volume traded at a specific price level during the specific time period and divides the total volume into either up volume, trades that move the price up, or down volume, trades that move the price down, and then makes that information easily visible to the trader. Okay, so now I'm going to move back to TradingView and I'll go over it in greater detail. Okay, so we go to indicators and we type in volume profile. Once you type in volume profile, there's a few of them, different ones that come up. But today we're just going to focus on session volume profile and visible range volume profile. So first of all, we'll go over the session volume profile first. So click on that. So as you can see here, there's a histogram that sits on the left of the screen here. And you have a load of blue and yellow bars in the histogram. So the blue bars are buy signals and the yellow bars are indicating sell signals. So you do have this red line here. And this red line is called your point of control. Now that's indicating where the majority of the buys and the sells were done in that time period. So the point of control sometimes acts as support if it's above it, but also can act as resistance when price is below that line. And also the point of control can act as a magnet as price tends to get attracted to that level. Okay, so as you can see in the histogram, you can see the middle part of it here is more highlighted than the end of it. So you see this, the top here is less visible. If we go into settings, yes, we'll see value area volume is the one that is more highlighted. And that's 70% of the histogram. While the other top would say 15%, and the lower part of the histogram would be also like 15%, but it would be less volume traded in those areas. So in this the middle part, that's the value area volume, which is just making up 70% of the histogram. So if we go back to the settings here, and something I'd like to change is the number of rows. So if you count the number of bars on the histogram, that would be equal to 24. So I'd like to change this 24 to 100. So we click, and then the style. So the volume area up, which is in blue, that's just the buys, and then volume area down is in yellow, and that's just the sells. I'm just going to keep that the same. You can change it if you want. I press OK there. So as you can see now that I changed the number of rows. So now we have 100 bars on the histogram. Now, I like this because it makes it more visible and it gives you kind of pinpoints exactly which bars has the most volume. So, of course, the point of control is the largest bar in the histogram, and that's where the majority of the coins were traded in this time frame. Now, what I like about this indicator is it will give me points of interest of where I think the price is going to go. And they can act then as either support or resistance zones. So yeah, as you can see in the chart, I'll just get my brush. So up here would be one point of interest. So as you can see that it has a big, large bar on the histogram. So I could, if I want, I could draw in horizontal line there. So we'll just draw a heart, and when we know that is going to act as resistance. So say if the price shot up here, it would have a hard time getting past this line, as it would act as resistance. But if it did get past it, it could flip it. It could then act as support. As you can see, that the price now is just in a range. So it is starting to sell off a little bit here. So you could make the argument down here is another point of interest, because there's a nice volume spike on the histogram. So we could prepare, if the price was to sell off more, we could see that this point here on the histogram is showing a volume spike. So we can draw in a horizontal line here, and we can say, okay, this would be a good point of interest. So if the price was to sell off, it could get a bounce on this line here. So as you can see, that it's a very useful indicator. And now we're going to move on, and we'll use the volume range indicator. I'm going to go back to the daily chart, and then we're going to go back into indicators. So it's in my favorites. I'm going to click on this one. And as you can see, it's actually showing up here on the right hand side of my chart, which I'm more comfortable of using it on my left hand side. But it's up to you. It's up to your preference. Some people might like it on the right. Some people might like it on the left. So I'm going to go into my settings, go style, and then see where it says placement. I'm going to change that to the left. So now I have it back on the left hand side of my screen. This indicator will get bigger, how big the chart is. So as you can see, as I scroll out here, you can see that I'm making the chart much bigger, and the indicator is following. So it's taken in all the previous price data, and it's showing it up then in the histogram on the left hand of my screen. But just for this tutorial, I'm just going to go into the last maybe month of price action. So now we're going to go back into settings here. We'll go to inputs. Again, it has the value area volume, which is in 70. We're just going to keep that the same. But back where the row size, it says 24. But now, because we're in such a bigger range, because we're on the daily chart, I'm going to change this 24 to 500. So see, it made it a lot clearer where the spikes are on the volume profile indicator. Now, again, there was plenty of volume at the start of the year, and that's why you see this red line as the point of control. But again, you can see all the little spikes here. There's one here, here, here. You could even argue this one up here. So these can all act as support and resistance lines. So it's a very important indicator, just to give you an indication of where price is at. Currently, the price is sitting at roughly 26,800. Now, you can see that there's a lack of volume on the volume profile indicator. Now, if I had to take a wild guess, I would say because the price has sold off here, and it is making, it's starting to go into a downtrend. It's making a series of lower highs and lower lows. So I would suggest that if it continues on this downtrend, I can imagine that price will probably go down to this level. So roughly around 22,900. So I know this would be a good point of interest. If the price did come down here, I'd imagine it would get a bounce. So let's say the price would just kind of sell off, could bounce, and we could get a reversal. But I would account this line as a good point of interest. So now you can see that how important and how useful the volume profile indicator is. And again, I wouldn't use this indicator as a standalone. I would use this, I'd incorporate it with all your other indicators, and it just gives you good points of interest of where price may follow or may get a reaction. And again, it can be used as just to lay out support and resistance zones. So that is pretty much the video on the volume profile indicator. If you're getting value out of this trading series, I would highly encourage you to go down, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's a great and free way to support the channel. And I will see you in the next video.